Fresno, you see, you think this is a joke. Now, I have to say something, and I'm going to give you a visual of this. I'm going to give you a visual of who you are, US. Okay? And I'm going to do it in Disneyland. And I'm going to shout as long as the baby Disneyland is alive, so that the rest of the US and the rest of the world, not only the intel communities, not only the governments and the agencies, not only the people and the masses in those capital cities on my crawlies and little crawlies, but also the cats and dogs and birds, globals. My parents were born in the pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. We knew that. The pioneer champions at young ages. To be selected for that, you'd have to go to the pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. Okay. They were hired as D1s. They used to work in the UN and USAID, and in stupid times they became D1s, which is basically directorates of humanitarian relief services, such as Austro TCOR USAID. In other words, they're the ones in the helicopters dropping aid. Okay. I was good at space science and science. I was born in Rome, in the capital cities. Fresno is where they retired, and they have the hanging benches of Lara Quintas and Iraq. Now, on 92 and above, I was doing the flights. I can say another girl was doing the flyings that I look like. I only have the eyebrows of that girl. Watch. And that's their retirements. And then there was the runnings, 85, that many motherfucking times, and then the rollies. If you go to Lara Quintas, or Quint, or Natalie Direct in Brussels, who are the Supreme Courts defending them in Langley, DC, and Brussels, they're going to shit on your face to explain to you why they're defending. In other words, the girl, when you smashed my head in on the ghost lines, I am the replacement child. So if you smash my head in again on the ghost lines, there'll be a second Hague. In other words, the piece of paper Delph showed that the US lost the proverbial share on the ghost lines that they tried to bury alive. The intelligence communities in the UN and in Western Europe, where I was born and raised, I was conceived in Saudi Arabia, born inside the Vatican, and I was naturalized in Hookeset, Graf City, New Hampshire, for 3 high schools in stupid times. So the flies, 92 and above of the parents, the runnings, 85, the parents on retirements at Fresno, and I was working elsewhere on the coast lines doing science or whatever line of work that was, connected those globals and the whole shit. They call me Bilan, they call me everything, it doesn't matter. I then died. I died. I had my head bashed in, come back like Disneyland. So the intelligence communities rehashed a girl who's not Jamila. They rehashed another girl. The little nails. Now, the little nails in the capitals, they called it the Manhattan Project 21st Century. Call it what you want. The gross children, the girl who had her head bashed in, the girl who saw Southern and came back. Disneyland is not going to be afraid of you, you asshole, in the US. She's going to tell you what the fuck you lost on the coastlines with me. And you're going to be starting to speak to me in 80 countries connected to those globals. You're going to speak about millions. Nobody fucking travels that much. That's not fucking traveling. That's work. They were sponsored their own selves. Their directorates. I am sponsored. They were their jobs. As for me, they didn't make that much money. Red Cross don't make that much money. Even the directorates. As for the child was the one who did the sciences. The child you smashed in on the ghost lines. No wonder those motherfuckers went phenomenal. And then they went, what'd they do? Mermaid and Titanic, the nails on the news, globals with the blonde hairs. You insulted everybody. You insulted Martin Snowden and Woolwich. You insulted the Italians at La Sapienza with the blonde hairs. You called them metros. If those guys and the professors were sitting on their fat ass with the white hairs with that girl in the basements of fucking metros, you. I am the relic of that girl. And I'm telling you, that shit happened on your coastlines. And you hate Disneyland. Because that's old news on the news. The bitch is dead. We can fucking kill her. So we have The Hague. We have Bureau de Veritas from Dirk Jan Van Dam saying phenomenal child dead. You're a piece of paper to put because, have you ever heard of like the Jehovah Witness of your own self? Ghosting yourself in 80 countries, that's bad enough. So much for intelligence. Then they say to me there's blues and pink. Oh yeah? Well, Western Europe. Not a fucking miracle. After smashing that girl's head in the ghost lines, I still have a fucking hole in the wall. You disgust us. I don't give a shit for the Opus Dei, quite frankly. Those guys are based abroad. The inner circles and Wallach abroad. Germans speak about space phenomenon abroad. Italy is based abroad. The Vatican is based abroad. Opus Dei is based abroad. The Arabs, the Saudis, the Turks, the Russians, my blood are based abroad. I don't give a shit how many fucking you are Southern US. You smashed the girl's head in on the ghost lines and you want me to shut up just because I'm Disneyland. Then you send your fucking psychos after the girl. There's a John Bennett film, The Same Room for a Time, Scott Glenn film, The Same in Room for a Time. You are sick. In other words, this phenomena, these men in black children in St. George's that they were speaking about, this watership down, it already happened. The girl was busy. She didn't have time for anything. She was either flies or running. And believe me, she loved her parents more than some Carreras on the ghost lines. Shut up. The only thing I have in common with Jamila is the eyebrows. Two and two. The girl had big eyes, big nose. Well, not too big, but that long. And yeah, long face. Che sta cagata? Che è nail, baby nail? Okay, I realized that you smashed Jamila's original intelligence on the ghost lines. I realized that that girl's gone. I realized that her head, her teeth, and everything were gone. I don't realize that this is all news on the news, but sending me your cycles is a little bit too much. You was, you fucking horse. Horse is horse, and a horse, and I'm a horse, and a horse, insulting the prostitute. Ma fuck you! At least I get fucking paid! Motherfuckers, I can't believe this shit. And they wonder why the fuck they brought back Disneyland. Motherfucker, è un'ossessione, è una fissazione on the ghost lines. I have to say, from a perspective of Disneyland, I realized that there are crumbs of that girl. I realized that after you smash the head of that girl, there's a hole in the wall somehow in Western Europe si sono fatti negativi. I realized that you're jealous even of that. Ma vaffanculo però, guys. Papa and Mama, if you had a father and a mother, I'm sorry guys, that went to pioneer camps beyond the capital city, much, no? Dark. From countries like Saudi Arabia, Turk, Russia. Norris Pietius. Pietius is Russian, Norris is Turk. Father's side, grandpapa, all Arabs, Saudi Arabs. The mother Turk. Turk in Arabia, Turks also in Russia. All, in other words, Arabia. Arabia and Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Arab and Turk. That. Mama Russian with some Polish. Not unusual. Shut the fuck up. It's not unusual. In fact, it's not even unusual to have a Russian Arab or a Russian Turk. You know what? Go back to the cave days, pezzo di merda, stupid times. Razzista pure, fascista pure. E come I'm not gonna say. As a child, I grew up with no teeth. They literally in the schools, in the elementary school, they don't want my teeth like this. Everything. Una tragedia, guys. And then they sit me in front of the buildings and I said, that's you. It's empty. Phenomenal. Therefore, they exist. Okay? Then you speak about eggs and some blue, taking children, the whole shit. That's another illegality, but always better than the rompicabeza. In other words, if you're speaking about smashing somebody's head in on the ghost lines with a egg, that's illegal. There's a maximum illegal for the asswipe 221. That already happened to me. In other words, I'm the replacement child. Tripoda. Disney. That's right. So that shit already is empty around the world. That's already old news on the news the now. So now, after the number 214-214-147, we have 214-214-221. And this Disney version of me already connected the dots, globals in 80 countries and so forth. And don't think that I'm some kind of millionaire or billionaire. I'm sick of this shit. I swear by God, US, you're so full of shit that veramente, it comes to the point of saturation, that line on the ghost lines. The killings. And then you wonder why the fuck those guys have a fixation and an obsession about this girl. They have an fixation and an obsession about that girl because she was phenomenal and you smashed her head in on the coastlines and you sent psychos after her and haters. on her literal crawlies, not the crawlies, because literal crawlies was when I was, doing the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods, okay, on the retirements of the parents. You are dead. So obviously, no. If you kill Disneyland, we're sticking in a second Hague. Because the Roman Tribunal is covering the fucking psychos that are following me. Okay? And don't give me this shit of Fresno Frisco, because those guys are from Fresno, and they were in federal prison in LA, and they're in fucking Frisco at Dolores Shelter. Don't start! Don't start with Jodie Foster and that shit. I don't need your shit. I know what I was. I know what that girl did. The only problem is I can't change that shit. I can't change the void, because that girl wasn't a ship. She was the Italians, the Brits, the Germans were speaking about a phenomenal girl who had her head bashed in on the coastlines and got all the fucking blessings. On your coastlines, you ask. And then you had the pretenses of, well, what the fuck? La Sapienza is empty. No, it's that. And that's new math. That was the proverbial show. That was the big one. That was the share, the 221 share, by say, with all the blessings from those guys. Yeah, but California is not those guys. California is California on the coastlines. So you smashed my head in on the coastlines. In other words, you're Satana. And because of that, because of me telling you the storyline of that poor girl, you turned around and attacked the Disney replacement of her. Knowing that that girl had done Connect the Dots Clubhouse. Knowing that that girl was the living in the house, the trained poodle, with all the crawlies and little crawlies out of Fresno for the parents. The ghost child. In other words, you're not assholes. There's another dictionary for this one, assholes in Fresno. Assholes doesn't begin to describe your fucking bitch-ass nurses. For 20 years, I was listening to your fucking radio. Huh? Stop the world, let them know it's not Christmas time. This was your local radio in Fresno. We have proof. I didn't hallucinate shit all around the world so many times with my girlies and little girls. Now that I hallucinate the fucking hound dogs in the hospital that were hound dogs with the bad hospital in the St. Agnes, the one hospital in Fresno that has the dogs that are broke ass, scared the shit out of poor local people in Fresno. And I ain't speaking about the limousines either of Fresno. With Tom and Jerry Tiles and his fame of Fresno, his corruption, his buddies, his friends, his wingman, his girlfriends, his puppy dicks, the nurses, the whole shit, that one fucking hospital, even the second hospital downtown is for shootouts. Don't give me your fucking reputation, Fresno. You're no fucking central of anything. You're no central of shit. In fact, this Disneyland is worth more than the fucking town of Fresno. In intel. Do you know why? Because even I'm fucking dead, I got a hole in the fucking wall. And you know what that means when you smash in somebody's head in and you bring them back as a hole in the wall in Western Europe? It means that our national treasures are your fucking trash on the coastlines and that, oh, news on the news. If you don't like losses, then you should have thought ages ago, seeing it coming like a freight train on the coastlines, that shit was have been lost. The Holy Grail. Why did you bash in the leader of that movement? You call that a movement? Huh? Why did you bash in the original Jamila's head when you knew that those girls and those boys who were with her would never give up on that girl, even when her head was bashed in on the ghost lines and she came back as Disneyland Connect the Dots Globals? In other words, we're going back to kindergarten. Old news on the news. You're assholes. 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 And as for Fresno, for the parents, oh shit. Have you ever seen the word, use your brain and not your assholes? Do you know how many flyings there were with the hanging benches of Laura Quintas and Ali Rect? Do you know how many runnings there were, 85, with the hanging benches of Laura Quintas and Ali Rect? Do you know how many runnings there were on 85 around the capital cities for the parents of that girl? And now we have the crawlies of the dead baby, me. In other words, after you smashed in my head in on the ghost lines at the end of 85, all those runnings, of course I was multitasking. What the fuck do you want? Now I'm doing what? You're not capable, you bitch. You fucking whore, because you're fucking Disneyland and we smashed your head in on the coastlines and I hope you rot in hell, you bitch ass. And we're gonna send psychos after you and I don't care. US. Scusami se te lo dico però, Dirk-Jan van Damme is sitting there in The Hague in the Netherlands saying, you know, darling, God created the world, and we built the Netherlands. We engineers, awesome, cool, but that's the lowlands. You, darling, were not lowlands. You were something else. Out of Russia, Saudi Arabia, the UN, and Woolwich, and Western Europe. Even the Germans are telling you this shit. And you had your head bashed in on the Ghost Lines, and I have to say, you were phenomenal. But now you did. And I'm like, okay, and what the fuck am I? And he's looking at me, he's like, you're the Chihuahua. The what? In other words, and you can be sitting, I'm the train pulling out. I swear by God, I'm got two heart attacks, 2 aneurysm, and 2 strokes for the parents. Ma vaffanculo, mortacci, mortacci, disgusting. And then you start speaking about intelligence, some genetics anomalies there, and wasting your out. The president was like, ah, fuck it, that was one of this. Perhaps the worry, the Viet Cong, Nepalese, Viet Cong, the Asian, on the fifth floor. She's looking at me like, that's it. Darling, you had your head smashed to bits on the Ghost Lines. You knew. Just, what you seen the negatives? Darling, you can't do that. That's a... I don't give a shit how many blessings that girl had. I don't give a shit from where. She didn't care. She was either flying or running. That girl didn't even look at that shit. Now I'm putting in this Disneyland, and no, this is not happening. I'm better. I see, huh? In other words, when they say the Scotland film, but now there's no sacrifice whatsoever. Just Disneyland. I'm Disneyland. So, facciamo così. Ce ne stiamo là, in Rome, for retirements, and if there's some blues out there, so you can get some... It's illegal. The rompicabezza on the Ghost Lines was smashed in heads. It is illegal. The Manhattan Project of the 21st century is illegal! And don't call me Bin Laden just because I didn't like the Mossad. I don't like the Mossad. Any chances? Do we have any chances with those motherfuckers, with those assholes there? No, do you like the Mossad? No. Do you? Are you? Are you? Are you? Yeah. Okay! CIA, what about you and the FBI? Okay! We'll even look where the shit was. Everything. We'll know everything. Damn. And that's a woolly truth. That's a ruling place. Cioè, so much for intercontinental cooperation. Smash the head on the Ghost Line. You know what? We're going down with you. If that... No. I don't believe it. Darling, I've been thinking about this for so long. We're gonna go down. Ma scusate ragazzi, I'm Russian Arab. You look Italian. You look Mediterranean because of Nazism. No, but I don't have a problem with them. But I am not Nazi. Yes, we have to turn this shit. What the fuck are you doing here? Senti, Jimmy. Ti sei fatta il voto là? È proprio il reale voto? Sì, I understand the wormhole to the World Project of the UN. Questo l'ho capito da prima. I already know what happened to that girl. Non me rompe cazzo che voi strozzi everything with the shit, with the nails, the cavolo. Even the English have the same obsession. What about the Italians? Non che mi stai a fare la cosa crucifera che mi spasci la testa on the Ghost Lines and you bring back Disneyland and you sit there saying, I'm gonna give a shit about phenomena. Ma se tu non riesci neanche a aprire shit in Poland, che cazzo con l'ora che Biomed? Ma questo se stava a fare il fenomeno lì dalla Russia. Guarda il papà e la madre. Look at the father and the mother. You fucking retard. You lost everything? Look, the Directorate of Humanitarian Relief said they were... Yeah, you could say comunity. Quelli se ne stavano lì su elicotteri helping the world in humanitarian relief services. Questi stavano in comunità. The people who needed help, who needed food, who needed water, who needed medicine, dropping it. Scusami. Direttorati sulle elicotteri. Che dopo siamo 25 anni in Africa, then after that they moved to Rome and they became directorates. E tu mi stai parlando la base. Ok, and you were born there. Yeah. In Rome. Yeah. Va bene, allora che cazzo vuoi? Perché sei stata concepita in Saudi Arabia e poi sei stata andata a Roma. Va bene, meno male che quello, almeno abbiamo un cervello, no? And you're speaking to me about, oh, bitches. Because che? Se io sono andata a Hooksett, Craft City, in New Hampshire, New England, to be naturalized at the age of 1 week old. Questa aveva 300.000 passaporti under her belt, faceva niente, perché se stava in Italia, c'aveva European Passport, UN ID, c'aveva gli altri passport. At the age of 1 week, se ne va a New Hampshire, in Hooksett, Craft City. So God becomes American in 1 week. The youngest American naturalized citizen in history in New Hampshire. In 1976. I'm born July 20, 1976. A Roma. Which would be in Saudi Arabia. The father and mother, no. They're born in pioneer camps beyond the capital city, were higher than Washington, D.C. In fact, they were working in humanitarian relief service for many years. Eventually, they said they're very good. So, they made them directorates, D1s. And so they moved to the base in Roma. Imbecille! Io t'ammazzo. In altre parole, you made me do 92, 92 and above. The flying. A bucket 92, 92 and above. Non ti dice un cazzo nessuno. No one. Perché it's 92, 92 and above. E stiamo behind and beyond the library. It's just because it has beyonds and it is behinds in a sense. So it's actually not the library. The flyings of that girl. After that, continuando, we have the 85, the runnings. At the end of the runnings, it gets to the head of the library and it hits the roof of the library on the left side, the feet. I heard a Bigfoot DOJ. Together because they're together. Io ti spacco culo. And you're speaking about the missing link child. I kill you. My father and my mother loved each other. Have you had a father and a mother like that? Who loved each other? Yeah. It's a spec. And so they were speaking about Jimmy, be bad. Be a bully, you're Disneyland. I was like, scusami però, after the rompicabeça on the growth science, Trentudo, figlio mio, sure you can have the crab at the beginning, I'm not saying that. And as for the shit with your cheap old hair, okay, and I'm gonna say it, they're suckers, for what? What was that girl famous for? US. There's the Scotland film. In other words, you have the Hague, the Bureau de Veritas, the Roman Tribunal, second Hague if you kill the baby. Because this one's the innocent. This is not even, this is a girl without teeth, this is what they call the Disney version, Angels Disney. Therefore, te ne vai a fanculo, US. This, for us, you're retards. You already lost that shit, those guys are already losing. Because the CIA, when it loses alla grande, when it sees the Holy Grail, what it does is, it also will sink. Why? Because it knows who that girl was. You, on the other hand, are inventing shit on this girl like there's no tomorrow in San Francisco. And I know who you are. You sick fucks. And don't give me the shit, the Fresno, because yes, of course, many of them are from Fresno. Why you need that? For what? What are you proving? US, about yourselves, about your girls here, about your degrees and your PhDs that will never reopen Gemellis buildings at La Sapienza, or in Massachusetts, or NASA, or in NASA. That shit has been shut ever since that girl died. Ever since that girl had her head smashed on the coastlines. And you are no fucking intel to reopen that shit. Connect those globals with those nails. None. If that girl has relics somewhere else, it's not the same. It can be a genius. It's not the same and will not reopen those buildings. You are the fanatics. You're terrorists. Because to kill in that way, that kind of intelligence on the coastlines tells me that you're losing from before. Large swaths of intel. And that's what you call the big one. And so you were speaking about fascists and Nazis and racists. Are you still happy that you smashed that girl's head in on the coastlines, US? Because there's evil and there's evil. And then there's retard. And there's called celeb. Just for dead baby. In altre parole, when they say that's Roman, and there's the Scotland film, and you still have 147-221 to make that happen, praticamente 47-221, we stay in Rome for retirement. That's all you have to make that happen. the Scotland film and everything else, without even mentioning the film. That's why they call me Roman. After you smash my head in on those lines. Your pretenses are way past. Even Disneyland can see that around the capital cities. Even the cats and dogs and the beggars on the streets in the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods who see me on my little crawlies because I spend longer in the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods in Cairo, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Warsaw Internationals, Rome, and London. I don't give a shit much for Poland. About Warsaw Internationals. And all those people in the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods that I spend quite a lot of time on my little crawlies, I say, they recognize the face, and say, oh, and the iris still there. The phenomenon's back. They did the unthinkable. They smashed her head and they brought her back. Genetics. Somewhere else. As The Hague. What about the parents? This is the reactions for the parents. Why? Because of who the parents are. Because of their jobs. And because of who they are as people. You, on the other hand, are a nobody-hating bitch nurse. Fat ass, 5X bra, white lady. In fact, in Fresno, and I'm going to point this out, they're mostly whites doing this. And some Hispanics who, by the way, seem to be whiter and whiter. In fact, the darker the Hispanics, the real dark ones, they left. And shit. The real Spanish? Nigga, that shit. They're looking at it in complete disgust. Stiamo parlando di Fresno, eh? You're speaking about the intelligence of Fresno from the very beginning to the very end. That many times. Therefore, se tu c'hai the birds, the cats, the cement truck, on my girls and little girls and all those capital cities even before retirements, and I'm sitting there going, why don't we say enroll for retirement? Let's go Glenville. You have Larry Wentzes. You have Natalie Red. Both of them defending the parents. May guess. Who the fuck is Fresno's intelligence? You know who Tom and Jerry Diretals is. His buddies, his friends, his amigos, his buddies, his girlfriends, his and the whole shit. His wingman and who knows where. That is the reputation of the area, the intelligence, call it what you want, of Fresno. Whatever Fresno claims, and the hating bitches that follow me on my little crawl, Maliki after 4 years, China's son, so I was also abroad for 4 years and a half. But I was trekking. I never finish for the bad or the man. I never finish. Even on Disneyland, I never finish. My dad. Just to get her out. In other words, and your hospitals in Fresno. We know who you are. Even for the baby. That's why there's a Roman tribunal, because you are psychos. You're not doctors. You're not nurses. We know who you are. And if you are doctors and nurses, well, you have one hell just for the baby with the Roman tribunal. Just for the baby on the Roman tribunal. That girl is Disneyland. She came back in a school of genetic freaks. She has had plum hair since she was 5 years old, with people with Nobel Prizes in the basements or not basements of the capital cities who are not people. They're deans of higher intel who saw a phenomenon and fell with her. She was not a professor. She was a flyer. She was the actual one doing it. And she had other flyers and runners with her. When you smashed the phenomenon on the coastlines, we decided that boat or whatever, ship or whatever would have fallen with her long ago. And they're saying the truth. That's the holy grail. Because if you smash into, you can't have bridges around the world with pistoleras everywhere. I'm in Warsaw International at the hostel. Huh? Pink hostel with grey bridge. Tutto pistolero. That was you guys. Okay, so there's a lot of losses. The guys would be. Where's she? Allora se ne va in Texas. That shit's empty. Those guys are pulling out. Phenomenals out. Intel being shot, and you still speak about your fucking PhDs. And your limos. I'm not Mother Teresa of Calcutta. I'm going to be sitting there watching this shit. And they say, darling, yes, you are like, have you ever seen Pan's Labyrinth? Have you seen that, you little fairy? You're a little fairy. No, Pat, don't forget about it. You look at the fairy. Yes. Replacement child. Man, school's a better. I'm sitting there in elementary primary school just for the terror for that. For the parents. I look at the father and mother. I see pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. I see their jobs. I see them. That many flyings, that many runnings, and that many rollies. They keep sending me back. Why? Even on my dead crawlies, why? Because they want you to do something in Fresno. The intelligence of those assholes, or what they claim they are. Because they do have intelligence. It's just not the one they claim they are. And I don't have faith. They don't have faith in you, US. Because you already smashed the head in of a phenomena. You smashed the head of a phenomena on the coastlines. They already don't have faith in you because of me on the coastlines. All of those guys, from Woolwich to Italy to Germany and to the other countries. That's why I was called celeb when you smashed my head in over there. Therefore, the Scotland film must stay out. You can keep your bitches, your assholes, the whole shit. You can keep your careerists here, there. You can do what you want. Keep your limos. We don't give a shit. Keep your girlfriends and your boyfriends at Fresno. For the parents, you've lost every marble on the planet that many motherfucking times. Especially with the dead baby Disneyland. Therefore, this is what they are saying in the capital cities, on my crawlies and little crawlies. In all those capital cities. And it's not comfortable being homeless for 2-3 years with your house under your name taken by Fresno, saying my mother has dementia when she had fentanyl and at pass it wasn't a dementia. You're assholes. Assholes. And I understand now that concept of J-Lo. I understand why they sunk the ship with that girl ages ago, the nails, ages ago. I understand that around the world. And within the CIA with the Blam has on those lines. And you're not going to change that. I can't change that. And that's what I used to do. And I was a phenomenon. You can't change shit. You're just assholes who are picking on a dead baby because you're assholes in the US. Irregardless of why I came back. Connected those globals. Irregardless that I'm the stand-in baby, living baby, trained poodle in the house with a father and a mother. You're not assholes in the US. You're way past that. And you're cheap assholes because you're not thinking. You're not even, the prostitutes don't touch me. The drug addicts don't touch me. You're the assholes. You're the bad guys, aren't you? That's what caused celebrities in those capital cities. That's why they're saying, Disney, go back and tell them. I only have 147-221 left of geological rebirth. Disney don't come back from the genetic freak schools and they went, As for my father and mother, I'm not what you think I am, Disneyland. As for Bonelli in Ambridge, via Bonelli, the Roman Ambridge, they'll go between 10 and 12. Bonelli was a restaurant owner in Fresno. He's the one who had that one tower in Fresno. Okay. Tom and Jerry Darrital shot him dead. He had a local San Francisco Supreme Court against Tom and Jerry Darritals. Unfortunately, he didn't show up because he says, who gives a shit? He's just a restaurant owner. He did the same to Gallo Wineries in Fresno. That's only Ambridge. She was thrown from Hobbit. Of course, I went to middle school with Giacomo Martelli, who was best friends with Bonelli. Both of them foreign ministers in Italy. For free. I preferred St. George's High School because St. George's had 10,000 kids. They had the Glocks. What the fuck is this Disneyland after the Rompigabesa? I had a brain one. What, you made negatives out of that? Oh, the space brain. That's pretty nice. Sure, they got intelligent killers now. That's chances. Well, you smashed their head on the coastlines. Completely. What about the buildings? Are they going to reopen? Las Vegas and the others? Massachusetts, SNS? No. No, because that new shit's gone, isn't it? You smashed my head in on the coastlines, the leader. And those guys like, oh, ossessione proprio, Avvissazione, you touch that shit, I'll fucking kill your ass. Okay, I'll kill your ass. For Fresno, you can forget it, and I tell you why. Because that girl was also defending the parents on the flyings. 92 and above, Benny, because, something going on. Although, you're working elsewhere on the coast, and that's a retirement. Middle of the desert of California. Yeah, the runnings, that many times, 85, that guy. Well, yes, that guy. That's Roman, say Roman, basta, Stockline, Fenderman, Italian job, and shut the frick up. Everything sideways, no sideways. In other words, Disneyland doesn't care. She doesn't care if you abuse her even. Why? Because she knows they'll kill you for that. I know it by now. I know why the ghost child came back. You don't. Because you got your PhD, you go with shit. Ah, shit. Another thing. Should sue the parents. Santi, I was born in Capital City, Rome. They're born in Pioneer County beyond the Capital City. Or 92 and above. The parents, yeah. Flying. That's it. It's very. This one, my gas is got more than. No. I said, bro, there's a Scotland film. So stop sending me your cycles, US. Because from Coast Celebre, we'll have, I don't know how many Coast Celebres in the US. We'll have The Hague, the Bureau, as I say. We'll have the Roman Tribunal, in addition for the cycles. They killed the baby. Just for fun, Why should we bring this together? Shut up. She has The Hague, she has the Bureau de Veritas, she has the Roman Tribunal. Why don't we just kill her? Okay, second Hague. This is why they're showing who the US is. And why. Why you lost with The Hague, the first Hague, and the Bureau de Veritas. Why you in the US lost with the Blumheads on the coastline, Swartho and Tau. I can't change it. I had my head smashed on your coastlines. I am the Disney replacement. 2-1. So I don't give a shit how many fucking blessings I had over there. US. We're staying junior. We're staying in Rome for a dance, Scotland film. For the parents, they'll scorti. Because if you have parents like that who help society more than concretely, and their offices and their peoples there, and you have the hanging benches, Lara Quintus and Larry Red, defending both parents that many times. US. You're not the country. You're not. Yeah, pretenses for whatever happened over there with the J-Lo concept that you hate around the world, the nails, all news on the news. Yeah, pretenses for everything. You hated me for that. You hated me for my life. And the phenomena of that beautiful girl. You smashed my head on the ghost lights. You hated me when I was Disneyland. With a million fucking blessings around the world. Literally. Western Europe making a cause celebre out of the girl. Even Disney had to be brought back to say something about the original Jamila. And you hated her as Disney. US. I only have 147 to 2-1 left. This will never be reborn again in Rome. And those genetic freak schools of the UN, genetic freak players. As for you, you are paying for your stupid asses. And that's it. Blimping time, in, out, 2-1. Stupid times. The Barons are something else. The Barons have the hanging benches, Lara Quintus not erect. Defending them. The many flyings, the many runnings, and that Crawleys of the girl. That Crawleys. They're getting out of Fresno. Out. Your radios, your bitches, your whores, your assholes, their girlfriends, the whole shit. You're getting rid of them in Fresno. Why? Because you're not the hanging benches of Natalie Direct. You're not the hanging benches of Lara Quintus. That many flyings, that many runnings, and that many dead Crawleys of me. Crab took Annalena went. You are shit. And if you're gonna give me an excuse for smashing that girl's head in on the ghost lines and coming back like this, then I'll tell you one thing. Dirk-Jan van Damme The Hague, cause celebre. You are not a country. Go do your PhDs. You ain't gonna reopen that shit. You only reopen the disgusting banks at 9/11. And we don't like the Mossad either. And we're gonna slap, what's it called? Defamation to the Roman Tribunal. Name calling to the baby. Goodbye. No, you're not a country. Goodbye.